So now for the walls, we're going to do just the same thing as we did with the floor, only with a different picture, a different image. So let's go find some wallpaper, and you can do this however you want. Find whatever type of wallpaper you would like. Let's not go to the internet. I won't show you that, but you can go there and find a picture, save it to your files so that you can bring it into Blender. I've already got one that I found that's a wallpaper design. So I need to select one of the walls. I'll do the back wall first, but I can't select it because it's a different object. So if I hit Tab, go to Object Mode, then I can select that back wall and go back into Edit Mode. So it's now selected. And if I come back over here, let's unwrap it first. So if I click U on the keyboard and unwrap, now it's got my tile in there because that's the picture I have right here. So I need to add a picture here. So let me go to Texture, add a new texture, and Image or Movie. I will open the one that I have previously saved. So this is going to be my wallpaper texture. Now I need to change the picture over here. Wallpaper. Okay, so that's really big, and that's kind of cool, I guess, but I'm going to scale it again to make it smaller. If I click S and go out, and then it just duplicates the picture and makes the pattern smaller. Now one problem I can see with this already is that it's duplicating it, but it's kind of cut off. It's not right in the middle of the pattern, so I can see an extra line there. So if I went into Photoshop, I could fix that. This one over here on the right side is cut off right in the middle of the pattern, and so it looks good on the right side, but on the left side it's not cut off on the middle of the pattern. So I could go into Photoshop and crop that to get it nice so that my wallpaper would look really nice. So if you have that problem, I'll let you do that. Otherwise, I won't make you sit here and watch me do that. So there's my wallpaper. Now if I need to make sure it's going to render correctly, make sure I'm doing everything correctly. If I hit F12 to render, my camera view's looking right at the floor. So the floor looks nice. If I hit Escape, come out of the render, I need to hit 0 on the keypad, not up on top above the keys, above the letters, but over on the right side on the keypad. Hit 0, and that's the camera view. So I need to change that. If I hit I need to get this menu over here, click N on the keyboard, and go up to Lock Camera to View. That way I can zoom out and adjust my angle. I'll probably want to look inside of the room. If I click Shift and middle mouse button, I can drag that down a little ways. So that's a good view to see the whole inside of the kitchen. Now I can click 0 again to get out of that view, and if I hit 12 now it will render. So I don't have my wallpaper on there in the render, so I did something wrong. So let's come over here to my options. What I need to do is probably go to, let's see, I think I'm just going to start over with that texture. I think I got that wrong. So okay, so I have a texture, but I didn't have a material selected, so I do need to select a material. Just get a basic material, and I can even rename it. If I click right here, I could name it walls and hit enter. So that texture is called walls now, or the material rather. If I click on texture now I can create a new texture. I need to go find my image again, open it up, click on wallpaper, there it is, and if I right click on the wall, it's already got the proportion because I already set it, but it needs to be right here in order for me to be able to render it. So if I hit F12, I think there's going to be another problem. Yep, there is. So that's kind of cool too, but it's not rendering my image correctly because if I scroll down here under mapping, I have generated, and it just generates what it thinks it should be, but I want it to select UV. So it selects this picture. Now if I render it, then there's my wallpaper. Okay, so everything's correct that way. If I need to make sure I have the material selected, select the texture, have that in here, and under mapping have UV selected. Okay, so now I can go back out over here. I need to go back to object mode by clicking tab, right click on the next wall, tab again to edit mode, And you could put different textures on your walls if you want. I'm just going to put the same one. So now we need to get a new material and go to, let's see if I can find my wall material. If I click right there and then I find walls, it's got the same material and it's even got my picture in there still, so that works good if I want the same one. Now I'm going to unwrap it just to make sure it's the right size, and it's not, so it's really big again. So I'm going to scale that and drag it out, hit S to scale and make it a good size. I need to make sure UV is still selected, and it is. So then when I render it, F12 over here, I can see both wallpapers. That's good. Hit escape. Now I need to go back into object mode, hit tab, edit mode, tab to object mode, right click on the third wall, and go back into edit mode. I'm going to unwrap this. And again, it's small, but I'm going to go back to my material and click right here and select walls again, because I already have it done. And I'm going to scale that, or I could leave it the same and see what that looks like. Kind of a different looking wall. That pattern is huge. So there is my walls and flooring for the kitchen. So this is our kitchen. Now I will put the table in. The next time we'll put the table in and put all the other objects that we've created to make that cereal scene, the kitchen scene with the cereal. And just as a preview, real quick, if you want to know how to do that, if you've got lots of time left, there's a quick way to do that. If I go, let's see, I'm going to go into object mode. If you get into object mode, and let's get rid of this menu. Okay. Now I'm in object mode. If I go to file and append here, this goes into my files, and I can find all of my Blender files and select the objects, certain objects out of those files, and put them in this file. That's kind of nice. So I will find my Blender files here. So let's start with the table, and I will go into my table Blender files, and I'm looking for objects. So I'll go into the object folder, and I have two cubes that I used. I think one for the top of the table and one for the legs. So I think this is the top of my table. I'm going to append that from the library, and it brings in my table. So that's the top of my table. If I went back to File and Append, let me get my other cube, which I believe are the legs. Yep, there they are. So those are two separate objects. Now I can put those objects together, and if I select both of them by right-clicking, let's see, hold down Shift and right-click, I've got them both selected, and I can join them by coming over here and join. So then my table is all together. And this looks like it's my unfinished table. I don't have the legs textured, or the table top is not textured completely correctly, but hopefully yours is. And it looks better, a little bit better than mine. Now I can move that around in the room a little bit. And now scaling, or one of the principles of design is proportions, and my proportions might not be correct, because if that's the size of the table, then that kitchen is pretty small. Once I get cupboards and sink in there, which we won't do, but once I get those in there, then it's going to be really small. So I need to scale that down a little bit, and I can just click on scale, click the white, and make that table a little bit smaller, depending on how big I want the room. Okay, so I can, with that file append, I can start bringing objects in and setting up my kitchen scene.